And welcome to Legal Lounge here on CRN Digital Talk Radio, crntalk.com, streaming live coast to coast and around the world on crntalk.com. Also available in stunning high-definition video on facebook.com/CRNTalk. Also on Tiki Live, also on CRN's custom-built Roku channel, available for free in the Roku store, Tiki Live, and of course on crntalk.com. I'm joined, as always, by the one and the only, an active attorney, U.S. Army veteran, Juris Doctorate in law, undergraduate degree in physics, and author of a book that has proven to be a guideline for the Supreme Court now and in the future. That book, America: An Illusion of Freedom, is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and on iTunes. You can see him out and check him out on KRLA 870 The Answer. It's Mr. Richard Nixon, and the show that gives you the news you get nowhere else. How are you, Richard?
Well, I'm pretty good. Just slightly crestfallen here this morning. I was prepared to celebrate because it looked as though Mr. Trump, again, has been exonerated of all ties with the Russians. However, my roommate here is coming back at me. He has some cogent points to make. I guess the future will tell us how much information is true and how much is BS on the... Anyway, I'd like to start with a quote by Tulsi Gabbard. She's the one who broke the news yesterday or day before to the effect that it looked as though Obama was the head man. I'm going to shut up. I don't want to use the wrong words. So I'm just going to play, if you don't mind, Mike, I'm going to play Tulsi Gabbard's 3 or 4 minute speech here.
Please.
Thank you.
Directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact. Criminal implications of this. The evidence, correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
This is Tulsi Gabbard speaking, the Director of National Intelligence.
The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
So the claim that this is the claim, and we're going to get into this right after the break. The claim is that an unclassified memorandum to DNI Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democrat member of Congress, it quotes newly declassified federal records that demonstrate U.S. intelligence agencies in 2016 believed Russia could not manipulate vote counts in favor of Trump or any other candidate. It also reproduces formally classified documents showing that former President Obama and his top intelligence officials, including Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, CIA Director John Brennan, and James Comey, tossed aside such evidence to rush out a doctored intelligence assessment that falsely claimed the opposite. Under U.S. intelligence branding, that assessment relied on fabricated information funded by the Hillary Clinton campaign to falsely claim Trump was a Russian stooge. This comes from the Federalist, so obviously they have, their own point of view. But we're going to talk more about this after the break, right after the break. So stay with us, you guys. We're here on CRN Digital Talk Radio, crntalk.com.
Yes, sir.
Make sure to check out Richard's fantastic book, America: An Illusion of Freedom. It's available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and on iTunes. Makes a great read for all those law students, too, that are going to hit the law school this fall, but also for anybody else who is interested in this country.
Like one of these days.
One of these days.
You're learning how to be a lawyer right now. You might as well just join up.
Well, I've learned at your knee, Richard. Stick around. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, everyone. Tom Mustin here for the Legal Help Center. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up, because we have legal professionals standing by right now to answer your questions for free. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-745-9090. That's 800-745-9090. The call is free, the consultation is free, and you could speak with a live agent right now. So, if you or someone you know were injured in an accident, like a car accident or slip and fall, call now to find out if you have a case and how much money you could potentially get. 800-745-9090. That's 800-745-9090. Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
are back at the Legal Lounge. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. We really appreciate it. CRN Digital Talk Radio, CRN Talk. And as always, if Richard's a veteran, Richard, thank you for your service.
You're so welcome.
And if anybody out there is listening or watching on Facebook or YouTube or Rumble after the fact, knew Richard in his time of service, the United States Army, or as a contractor in the Republic of South Vietnam, shoot us an email over here at the office, info@crntalk.com, because we want to connect you guys and give you a free copy of Richard's fantastic book.
Just one question, statement, Mike. By the way, there's someone else in our discussion that happens to be of that ilk, a military person. Her name is Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, she did.
And I'll take her word for it anywhere. I'll fight in any foxhole for her.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The gist of, once again, just to review, the gist of Gabbard's argument is that Obama knew the intelligence community had concluded that Russia could not and did not alter votes. But he wanted an assessment that Russia did interfere.
Exactly.
Mr. Trump and Miss Gabbard have now accused Obama of treason.
Well, now, wait a minute. Tulsi said she's not a lawyer. She's not accusing him. She's simply saying she's referring it to the appropriate people, Miss Bondi, and let them decide. She said, I'm not an attorney. I don't know if it's treason. I'm just telling you what the facts are.
Well, okay, fair enough, Richard, but President Trump did, in a gaggle with reporters, did he say that Obama committed treason? So, yeah, we can split the difference on that. Ted Cruz has spoken up about that. He was shocked about this whole thing, too, but he was asked whether or not, let's say Obama did commit treason, would he be subject to presidential immunity post the immunity decision by the Supreme Court?
That's a good question, because I happen to hear Senator Cruz, and he purported to explain this very simply, and he said, on the dates December 5, 6, 7, and 8, the conference of these intellectual intelligence people was that there was no connection between Russia and Mr. Trump. I'm simplifying it. But as of the 9th that Mr. Obama took over and reversed things, arguing that there was some kind of connection, that's what he wanted to be disseminated in the media. And they classified the 5th to 6th to 7th and the 8th. All that was classified, and it was not available for viewing until recently when President Trump, declassified it. So, according to Senator Cruz, again, we'll have to see how this fares out. He is convinced that Mr. Obama did something at least to change his mind so that Mr. Trump would appear to have been influenced by the Russians.
Oh, okay. Just, to play devil's advocate.
Sure.
Things get classified for a lot of different reasons. Perhaps maybe there's human intelligence or signals intelligence collected methods that they didn't want to
Absolutely.
We'll never know. Well, okay, let's get into it, Richard. So if this did happen, if President Obama did commit treason, if he did, as alleged by Tulsi Gabbard, President Trump, and others, that he himself and his subordinates in the intelligence community lied and put out a report saying that Russia interfered with the 2016 election.
Yes.
Why is this now coming to light all the way in 2025, not when President Trump in his first term from 2016 to 2020 could have declassified any of this stuff?
Well, I don't know that he was privy to it. Someone had to tell him. And of course, half of Mr. Trump's attorneys are either disbarred, jailed, or bankrupt. I don't know why he didn't know.
That's a good point.
But my point is, the question is now, it finally came out. First of all, there's another issue here. What Mr. Trump is trying to do, and I think the Republicans in general, is to play this tit-for-tat kind of stuff. In other words, the fact that the Democrats put Mr. Trump in his first period of election, the fourth, put him literally through hell to include being impeached twice based on nothing. He wants to avoid simply, I'm going to get back at those guys. He wanted to, I think, probably gave instructions, this is my conjecture, that don't come out here with something that's anti-Obama or anti-Biden or anybody else unless you've got the evidence for it. So to me, that's exactly why he waited. He wants to make sure that he's on sound ground to do it.
I disagree, Richard.
Okay, fine.
I disagree. I think, just broadly, this is one man's take, and I rarely disagree with you about anything.
Yes, you rarely do.
You and I are great friends. I've learned so much from you.
I even gave you some tomatoes the other day,
I know, they're beautiful. Everything that I've learned about the law and politics, I've learned from you.
Yeah.
But it just seems fishy to me, Richard. It's fishy. It's the timing seems fishy to me. Last month, Tulsi and Donald Trump had a real big brouhaha because Tulsi, said that Iran did not and it didn't have the ability to manufacture and possess a nuclear weapon. Trump disagreed with that, and Miss Gabbard was not involved in any of that stuff. And then this week we see that there's some Epstein stuff that we're not going to talk about, but it seems to me a little bit fishy, the timing where we have Tulsi and Trump get into this brouhaha. We have a lot of questions about the Epstein stuff, and now Tulsi comes back into the fold with this story that goes back all the way to 2020, and this is the first time. All right, please, Richard.
Mike, fishy is not an argument, first of all.
Okay, all right.
Second is this. They could have been arguing about this very issue. Mr. Trump may have been saying, what do you mean? You've got information that maybe Obama was really engineered all these false remarks about my being connected with the Russians somehow? Yes, I've got it. Well, wait a minute. I don't think I want to do this yet because I want to avoid being looked like a South American republic where you put your opponents in jail once you've thrown them out of office. I don't want to do this. Now, I think during the interim, he may have talked to her again, and she may have said, Mr. Trump, President, you've got to listen to this. This is legitimate, and I know from a number of independent sources this is true, and I'm asking you to let me speak on it. And I think that could very well be the delay and the disagreement.
Okay. Once again, the gist of Gabbard's argument is Obama knew the intelligence community has concluded that Russia could not and did not alter votes. And alter votes, I think, is important because there was a claim made by some that Russia had the ability to hack into actually voting machines themselves and change tallies, which is a completely spurious claim. Total BS. Russia never had that capability.
Well, Mike, but you don't necessarily know that.
No, I'm defending Trump here. I mean, Democrats, some of my brothers and sisters out there saying, "Oh, the Russians, they so wanted to help Trump."
No, but we don't know that either way, whether it's good or bad. Whether or not the Russians had the ability, we don't know that.
Well, actually, Richard, that was covered in the 2020 bipartisan Senate committee. Chaired by Senator Marco Rubio, who they did find this is what they found, Richard. They found that Russia did not have the ability to actually go in and change votes. What they did find, however, is that there was a concentrated effort by Russia to interfere with the 2016 election, which included hacking the Democratic National Committee and the campaign of Hillary Clinton and releasing their emails.
Well, that's fine, but the point is, Mr. Rubio, he's not perfect either. I mean, he may have been incorrect. He may have gone. There may have been a 4-3 vote, and he was on the 3.
He was, and also, Richard, he was also trying to run for president in 2022.
Okay, fine.
So that's one for your column right there.
That could be, yes. He could also be running for vice president. So you could argue that when you're running against somebody, or you're running for them, you would say certain things and shade them. I don't know why Rubio did that, but I do know why Cruz did it, and it's because he had the information. Now, the other thing, now that are you satisfied though that we've talked enough about Trump? Can we go on to other people who helped Mr. Trump?
Yes, let's save that for the next segments, because I think this is a really big story, and I think we're going to follow this story, of course, moving forward.
Absolutely.
But we have to talk about friends of the show, John Eastman, Jeff Clark, and Rudy Giuliani right after this break. Stay with us, folks.
Totally.
What are the most important issues facing people in California? Inflation and crime. Hi, Aaron here. We at California Deluxe Windows addressed both. We are making beautiful energy-efficient custom-fit windows right here in LA, saving on waiting time and the cost, so it beats inflation. And our security features are unlike anybody else. Steel-reinforced frames, metal comlocks, night latches made from Lexan, almost unbreakable, like a football helmet, interlock, and more. This is our deflation security cell with 30% discount on top of it. And our installation is so precise, we do not break your stucco. Your house can be covered with potato chips and we wouldn't crack one. Call us 866-988-5100. 866-988-5100. 866-988-5100.
CSLB 774518. Some restrictions apply.
Savor the past and savor the glory days of Las Vegas. Enjoy 70 years of true Las Vegas history as 4 generations of family wait to greet you at the legendary Bootlegger Italian Bistro. Wine, dine, and experience Mama Maria's award-winning original recipes while surrounded by original family photos and celebrity memorabilia. Enjoy piano artistry nightly with music from the Great American Songbook in our main formal dining room. The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard South, in the entertainment capital of the world. The Bootlegger Italian Bistro, open 7 days a week. 7700 Las Vegas Boulevard South, in the entertainment capital of the world. It's Vegas, baby.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 800-785-9618. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-785-9618 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 800-785-9618 right now to schedule your tax-deductible vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-785-9618 now.
We're back in the Legal Lounge, CRN Digital Talk Radio, CRNTalk.com. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. As always, all past and previous sessions are available on YouTube, also on Rumble. Find CRN Digital Talk on both those platforms. Okay, Richard, let's talk about some of our friends here.
Yes.
Specifically, one of our great friends, former dean of the Chapman University Law School, former great mayor of New York City, and Jeff Clark as well, very well-known and well-respected attorney. What's going on with our friends?
Well, before I say that, I like the cup that I'm using here this morning, Mike.
Yeah, we got a bunch of those.
No Mo Joe Trump 24. But it should say No Mo Joe Trump 24. But anyway, all right. What I'm interested in is my boy John Eastman. Eastman, once universally revered as a foremost authority in constitutional construction and history, I'm reading this for a reason. Targeted by one of the most ruthless and sustained lawfare campaigns against any attorney in American history. Eastman, alongside former U.S. Attorney General Jeff Clark and Mayor Rudy Giuliani, were systematically maligned, censured, and even disbarred for simply arising to a timeless call of both client and their profession by providing legal representation. And here's the thing, legal representation to the President of the United States. And it looks like, if this holds up, that Mr. Trump as president has been exonerated in terms of these false charges that he claims during his first term. All these allegations regarding his connection with Russia and so on, turns out they might all be false, and maybe some of the people in the Obama administration are guilty of some terrible things. In any event, it looks to me as though if it's true that Mr. Trump has been exonerated, I hope Mr. Trump is taking heed that some of his people that put him where he is, that is to say, argued on his behalf, owe a debt of gratitude, and we need to do something to help Mr. Trump, Mr. Clark, and Mr. Eastman, Mr. Clark, and Mr. Giuliani. And the last thing I'd like to say is this. The only thing that Mr. Eastman did, Attorney Eastman, what finally got Eastman in trouble was confusion over a fairly straightforward constitutional issue, namely, whether the president has the ability to request that his vice president return fraudulent or legally doubtful slates of electors to their respective states for further inquiries. Now, again, whether or not the vice president at the time, Mr. Pence, had the authority to do anything is not the issue. The issue is whether or not Mr. Trump could properly, acting in his role as commander, as president, could suggest to the VP, Mr. Pence, that he return fraudulent or legally doubtful slates of electors to their respective states for further inquiries. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I mean, he was providing his, not only that, he had theories, about the unitary executive and stuff like that. The man is a scholar, and he was offering, information and advice to his clients based off his long career as a practicing attorney, a dean of a law school, high respected law school, and it seems they canceled him pretty much for no reason. It should be noted that President Trump has helped John Eastman financially a little bit by hosting an event at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, I see.
For a documentary about John Eastman's travails.
Is that available now for us to watch?
I will find that out shortly. Okay. But he did host a 2-day premiere event at Mar-a-Lago with all proceeds going to the John Eastman Legal Defense Fund. And if any of our listeners out there want to help out with that, you can go to the John Eastman Legal Defense Fund.com and help out our friend John.
Thank you. One last thing I want to mention here regarding this same issue is regarding the president. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 basically says that each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives. So this makes it very clear that in the U.S. Constitution, Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2, the decision regarding appointment of electors is strictly 1,000% the job or the role, the duty of the state's legislatures, not the state's Supreme Courts. This is what happened in many of these cases. I'm not going to go into it, but we have a case here from requesting certiorari, which was denied by the court.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in the next segment because that's fine. What's, I think, so important that John Eastman and others were arguing about. And you know who agreed with our friend John Eastman, Rudy Giuliani, and Jeff Clark? Justice Gorsuch, Justice Alito, and Justice Thomas when it comes to the chicanery that went down in Pennsylvania during the 2016 election.
One last thing, too. Again, we have to remember that Article 2, Section 3 basically says that he, the president, shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed, meaning that if he is privy to some errors, he had every duty under the Constitution to call attention to that.
Stick around. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Is this thing on?
To social media.
I'm so funny.
These days, it seems like just about anyone can share their 2 cents. But with so many voices out there, who can you trust? Well, how about LA's first and longest running talk station? For over 60 years, AM 790 KABC has been the trusted source of news and information for Southern Californians from San Diego to Santa Barbara and beyond. With powerhouse hosts like John Phillips, Randy Wang, Armstrong and Getty, Frank Motek, Guy Benson, and Vince Colonnese, you can rest assured you'll receive the news of the day with honesty, insight, truth, and above all, facts. On air on AM 790, online at KABC.com, and on the go with the free KABC app for news talk you can depend on. Trust us. Fast-paced, fact-based, AM 790 KABC.
1 out of 2 Americans thinks their life is worthy of a book. Here's another startling stat. You may be one of the 15% of people who bothered to start your book and one of the 6% that got halfway through it, but your gem of an idea likely died. Or did it? Some published authors are making significant money, so join the ranks of the successful people that finished their books with help from Dorrance Publishing. Call right now and our experienced editors and writers will explain to you what it's going to take to get your book completely written, published, and then taken to market to sell it. It's a free consultation, so call right now. Find out how much time and money it takes to finally get that book idea of yours published. Make your dreams happen. Call Dorrance Publishing right now.
800-786-1468. 800-786-1468. 800-786-1468. That's 800-786-1468.
Are you annoyed, angry, or maybe there's another word you want to use about where your tax dollars are going? Let's face it, the government does a terrible job of managing money, especially when it's yours and mine. Tax dollars are being wasted, and all the government does is have their hand out for more. So what do? They send you, the tax-paying American or business owner, a letter saying you underpaid your taxes, and you owe us a lot more. Don't laugh and don't cry. Call the Tax Resources Network now. Their trained experts can help negotiate between you and the IRS and take all the stress off your back. And if you're lucky, save you a boatload of tax money. So before you think about calling the IRS, if you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes or you haven't filed in a while, call us right now.
888-816-7701. 888-816-7701. 888-816-7701. That's 888-816-7701.
It's time to rediscover Ka'anapali Resort on Maui. Goodbye stress and work. Hello paradise and fun. Restaurants, hotels, golf, spas, hiking, shopping, activities of all kinds, or just lounging on the beach and listening to the waves. Visit Ka'anapaliResort.com, Kaanapali Resort.com. Ka'anapali Resort on the west side of Maui.
Hi everyone, this is Ron Say. I played baseball for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Chicago Cubs, and Oakland A's. My Dodger teams won 4 National League pennants and a World Series. Now I am tackling a new challenge. I am hosting a new sports show called We'll See About That. We will look at the aspects of sports, baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Plus, you will be able to get my honest opinions on the big stories of the day. Join me for We'll See About That, Saturdays at 11 a.m. Pacific Time right here on crntalk.com.
And we are back in the Legal Lounge. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Really appreciate it. Check out Richard's fantastic book, American Illusion of Freedom. It's available on Amazon.com. You can find us on Facebook as well. It's facebook.com/CRN Talk. And as always, all past and previous sessions are available on YouTube and on Rumble. Find CRN Digital Talk on both those platforms. Richard, we were talking about the woes of our friends John Eastman, Rudy Giuliani, and Jeff Clark. And a lot of this stems from something we've covered extensively on this show and something that still sticks in my craw. What happened in Pennsylvania in 2020? Yes. What did happen in Pennsylvania in 2020?
Thank you very much. This is a petition for writ of certiorari. It's written by, the author is Justice Alito, and he's joined by Justice Thomas and Justice Gorsuch. They all agree with the following. However, the entire Supreme Court did not grant certiorari, which could have solved this problem. In any event, let me go on. These are the words of Justice Alito. The court's handling of the important constitutional issue raised by this matter has needlessly created conditions that could lead by serious post-election problems. The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania has issued a decree. Now remember, that's the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania has issued a decree that squarely alters an important statutory provision enacted by the Pennsylvania legislature, pursuant to the legislature's authority under the Constitution of the United States to make rules governing the conduct of elections for federal office. Now, why is that important? Because, again, as we said, Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 basically says, each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors. So it's clearly the authority and power of the state legislature to make these decisions. However, in a law called Article 77, the legislature permitted all voters to cast their ballots by mail, but unambiguously required that all mailed ballots be received by 8 p.m. on Election Day. Now, I'm going to go a bit further, Mike. Is that all right?
Please.
Okay. Now, in the face of Act 77's deadline, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, again, I emphasize, Supreme Court, by a vote of 4-3, decreed that mailed ballots need not be received by Election Day. Instead, it imposed a different rule. Ballots are to be treated as timely if they are postmarked on or before Election Day and are received within 3 days thereafter. So far, not so bad.
Okay.
In addition, the court ordered that a ballot with no postmark and no legible postmark must be regarded as timely. The court expressly acknowledged that the statutory provision mandating receipt by Election Day was unambiguous and that its abrogation of that rule was not based on an interpretation of the statute. It further conceded that the statutory deadline was constitutional on its face. However, what Justice Alito is claiming is this. In a last-ditch attempt to prevent the election of Pennsylvania from being conducted under a cloud, we have been asked to grant a petition for writ of certiorari to expedite review so that we can get this thing resolved as to which ballots should be counted. That is to say, those submitted by the legislature or those apparently submitted by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. This is not the only state that did this. And last, let me say this. The question has national importance, and there is a strong likelihood that the state Supreme Court decision violates the federal Constitution. And one last thing, I'm going to try to make it last. The provisions of the federal Constitution conferring on state legislatures, not state courts, the authority to make rules governing a federal election would be meaningless if a state court could override the rules adopted by the legislature simply by claiming that a state constitutional provision gave the courts the authority to make whatever rules it thought appropriate for the conduct of a fair election. For these reasons, the question presented by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court's decision calls out for review by this court, as both the state Republican and Democrat parties agreed when the former applied for a stay. So this is on all fours with what Mr. Eastman, Mr. Clark, and Mr. Giuliani were urging that the president do.
Yeah, Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals agreed with that viewpoint as well, and then it went to the Supreme Court, of course, and you read from some of those dissents there. And Thomas also, unless rules threaten to undermine the electoral system, they sow confusion and ultimately dampen confidence in the integrity and fairness of election. And all those provisions that you mentioned, Richard, about accepting ballots 3 days after, 4 days, 5 days after, even without postmarks.
You could find some in Grandma's freezer. She had some Biden ballots in there, I'm sure.
And that goes directly counter to what the Pennsylvania legislature had explicitly decided not to extend the ballot receipt deadline past Election Day. And
so what have we got here? We've got at least 3 attorneys that I know of, Eastman, Clark, and Giuliani, who are, I hesitate to use the word destitute, but they've been stripped of their livelihood in terms of being lawyers. Their licenses have been suspended. And again, I urge, and I'm doing this in ignorance, I don't know what Mr. Trump is doing to help these people. They were helping him. They need help, Mr. Trump. And to the extent that you hear this show, please help at least these people.
And just to wrap things up, to going back to this, put a bow on this, as this is described by Alito, whether the Elections or Electors Clause of the United States Constitution are violated when a state court holds that a state constitution's provision overrides a state statute governing the manner in which a federal election to be conducted.
Yes.
It's blatant. Alito nails it on the head right there. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court usurped the power, the constitutional power of the Pennsylvania legislature, the legislature being the people's branch.
Absolutely.
And you had 9 unelected justices sitting high up in robes deciding how Pennsylvania should be able to count their votes.
Exactly. Well said, Mike.
Well, thank you very much. And so, and this is not some crackpot theory. This is not some conspiracy theory from the depths of the internet. This was happening in plain sight.
Quite frankly, it makes a mockery of what the California, at least I know this much, regarding Mr. Eastman, the California Supreme Court, the California State Bar has suspended Mr. Eastman's license for absolutely no cogent reason.
It also flies in the face of the precedent set by Bush v. Gore 2000, because everybody goes crazy because the court stopped Florida recounting votes. It's because the Florida legislature had in their state constitution saying you can't count votes after a certain time.
Exactly.
And the court found in George Bush's favor, as the right side of the law, and why this court found it differently is a head scratcher. Stick around, you guys. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is baseball's Ron Say. Nowadays, it seems like nothing is built to last. Phones, appliances, cars, computers, but the new Michelin Defender 2 tire is designed to outlast. With a quiet and comfortable ride, you will have the confidence you need on the roads, whether they're wet or dry. So goodbye to the short-lived and hello to something that lasts. Get your set of Michelin Defender 2 tires at Hank's Tires, 19951 Ventura Boulevard in Woodland Hills. Call my buddy Steve Goldberg at 818-340-4200. That's 818-340-4200. Hank's Tires is also built to last. Hank opened Hank's Tires in 1953, and we are the oldest tire and auto repair shop in the San Fernando Valley with 100% customer satisfaction. Hank's is AAA approved for all of your auto repair needs. Call Hank's Tires at 818-340-4200 and tell them Ron Say sent you.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Back in the Legal Lounge, Siren Digital Talk Radio, SirenTalk.com. Richard, you know what I find is fascinating is that sometimes some of the best language that I read, legal reasoning, legal scholarship, legal authorship, comes from cases that aren't necessarily super important to us.
They're not headliners.
Exactly. They're not, very well put. Not headliners. This comes out of probate court, right? This has to do with an estate dispute. This is the estate of Boyajian, Boyagian.
Yes.
And it was pretty much, about a will being altered,
right?
Being revised, that is, and so on and so forth. But the judges, specifically one particular judge from the California Court of Appeals, has some language in here that pretty much I think can be taken right out of your book.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes. And
I'd like you to read that if you can.
I will. Thank you. This is on appeal. And what the court is saying here, this is the Fourth Circuit in Orange County. Okay, and this is what the Court of Appeals judges are saying, and this is what all judges should do. They should adhere to this. They say, we interpret the statute de novo, meaning they're going to look at law, the statute, afresh. They do not go back to see what the trial judge or the jury or anyone else decided regarding the law. When it comes to the law, the Court of Appeals reviews it de novo, meaning from the beginning. And as always, starting as always with the text. So they're saying, look, we look to the text. That's what the people in the legislature apparently intended. So that's what we're going to look for. And they cite a case here. It's a 2024 case, City of LA versus PricewaterhouseCoopers. Now, they go on to say, if we find the statutory language ambiguous or subject to more than one interpretation, we may look to extrinsic aids, including legislative history or purpose to inform our views. Now, so what they're saying is if the text is clear, we just apply it, period, it's over. On the other hand, if there is an ambiguity involved in how we are supposed to interpret this, then we might go back to what they call extrinsic aids, including history, legislative history, other cases, and so on. Now, this is one of the dynamite sentences that I think my boy Mike likes. Ultimately, we must select the construction that comports most closely with the apparent intent of the legislature, with a view to promoting rather than defeating the general purpose of the statute. Now, let's pause there just for a second. So what is the court saying here? We must select the construction that comports most closely with the apparent intent of the legislature. So what the court is saying here, which is, it might put you in mind of RBG, she said this one day too, that the courts are passive. They go by what the legislature and the people therefore want. And so if they can, they must select the construction that comports most closely with the apparent intent of the legislature. That's because the legislature theoretically passed the law that is in accord with what the people want. Remember, Lincoln said, of the people, by the people, for the people. That's the way we should be conducting ourselves as judicial officers, with a view to promoting rather than defeating the general purpose of the statute, and to avoid an interpretation that would lead to an absurd consequence. So again, kudos to these judges here in the Fourth Circuit in LA County.
And this is something that speaks to what we just talked about with this Pennsylvania case, where we have the Supreme Court pretty much deciding what the legislature was saying, even though the legislature said what they want, what they mean.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think this is pretty ridiculous. Just going back to the Pennsylvania case, and I love this language here too. I mean, it's just
it's beautiful.
It's really beautiful, and you can find such interesting, and also you find major legal issues decided in mundane cases. I mean, and going back to your fantastic book, American Illusion of Freedom. I mean, you write extensively about Marbury versus Madison, which was about starting a bank.
Yes. No. Marbury versus Madison is just
about an appointment,
voiding acts of Congress.
That was the end result.
Yes,
but the case on the merits was about an appointment.
Yes.
The bank was a McCullough versus Maryland, correct?
Thank you, very, very 1819, Mike. You are right on, brother.
Yeah, and that's one of the seminal cases of all time too. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, the McCullough versus Maryland is the necessary and proper clause, correct?
Exactly, Mike. I'm telling you, you are unreal.
I appreciate that. Let's keep the ball rolling.
One last thing I want to say about this thing, though, and that is, it's so reassuring. Every time I get kind of down on what in the hell is going on in this country, to find someone besides you, Mike, of like mind, when I read something coming out of some other people's, apparently judges' minds, that square so much with us, and it is so correct. Thank you.
Yeah, there you have it, folks. All right, so once again, make sure to check out Richard's if you want to learn about the law like I have, first do this show. And second of all, read Richard's fantastic book, America, An Illusion of Freedom. It's available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and on iTunes. Stick around, you guys. We'll be back right after the break to wrap things up. As always, check out all of our past and previous episodes on Rumble, also on YouTube. Also, you can find us on Facebook. All our shows there as well on CRNTalk, or on Facebook.com/CRNTalk. Stay with us.
Experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury? If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com. 310-873-4422. The Kahanapali Beach Resort on Maui is open, and we are welcoming guests. All properties are taking reservations now. Come visit. Go to kahanapaliresort.com. Experience Kahanapali Beach Resort on the tropical west side of Maui, just a short drive from the airport. All highways are open, a collection of relaxing resort properties, our award-winning beach, delectable dining, world-class restaurants, and activities for everyone: snorkeling, surfing, sailboating, water sports of all kinds, beach and ocean dining, stargazing, beautiful sunsets every night, golf, sun, fun, food, wine, and all in paradise. Visit Kahanapali Beach Resort on Maui. Relax. Reservations are now available. Start with a visit to kahanapaliresort.com. That's Kahanapali resort.com. The Kahanapali Beach Resort is waiting for you.
Attention, those of you looking to go on a fun vacation and see the world on the cheap. Today, the U.S. dollar is worth even more in other countries, so there's never been a better time to travel outside the USA. The dollar is worth over $1.30 in Canadian dollars, and it's the same for Australia. You can fly there today and have fun and maximize your travel dollar. Your U.S. dollar is worth over $3 in Brazilian reals, and it's worth over $18 in Mexican pesos. Plus, in Argentina, it's worth over $27 in Argentine pesos. Just think of the bargains you'll get. And the way you get the cheapest airfare to any destination is by calling Tickets That Cheap. Save up to 75% on your foreign vacation tickets. Don't wait. Call now. 802-317-1979. 802-317-1979. 802-317-1979. That's 802-317-1979.
And we are back in the Legal Lounge. Thank you for spending your time with us. Wrapping things up here. Let's finish up with one of our, of course, important topics of the day. It's immigration. And we're talking about one of the legal pravda, as I like to refer to it, the Daily Journal.
Yeah. Yes.
This article titled "Green Cards and Red Flags: Why the Public Change."
Mike, you did quite a bit of research here on this article. I'm very pleased.
Well, my crack research staff was working overtime on this, and they provided me with a lot of stuff. But
you cracked the whip, though. That's what keeps it going.
We're scrappy, Richard. We're scrappy.
That's good.
Green cards. Practitioners must approach the public charge section of Form I-485 with heightened care and precision. USCIS has increased scrutiny on applicants' financial histories under the rule. Basically, if you want to apply for a green card, you have to fill out this Form I-485. It's an application for intending immigrants to file to apply for permanent residence and receive that green card. But now the Immigration Services is taking a closer look at these documents under the Trump administration. They're asking practitioners moving forward to treat this section of the form with extra precision and care. Richard,
yes.
You know somebody personally that's gotten the green card and that you're close to. It's a pretty arduous process. And then, of course, to get citizenship after that, to do it the right way, the legal way.
Yes, but, during our show prep, we talked about the fact that we've got this article that you produced, McBean Immigration Law, and it talks about kind of after the fact. In other words, what is the status of these people prior to or as they're applying for the green card? They're here illegally, but are they hiding out somewhere? Or actually, now that I think about it, maybe they should do this outside the country.
That's what the Trump administration wanted to have happen, specifically when it comes to these asylum claims.
Absolutely, because now what happens if these people, and again, is it any different than a man who's just been involved in an altercation, beats somebody up, and he goes to his attorney and says, man, I need you to defend my case. Now, criminal law might be different than this immigration because an immigrant is already illegal by his being here, whereas that defendant who just got in a fist fight, he's technically under the law. He's innocent until proven guilty. So his presence is not illegal in and of itself, whereas this immigrant, if you will, their being here illegally is illegal. And so what is their status? How is there some way they can protect themselves from being deported while they're submitting their request for a green card?
Yeah, that hypo. I mean, what I look at it like is it like someone who's committed a crime and then directly goes to the court and asks for clemency. You know, because coming to this country undocumented is a crime, both civil and criminal. But I mean, there's 6 different ways that once you cross the border illegally, where you can apply for a green card. Number 1, asylum. We've had a big problem with asylum because any Tom, Dick, or Harry can say I was persecuted in my home country and apply for asylum. Under the Biden administration, they'd let those people in and pretty much mix into society, oftentimes never to be heard from again.
Absolutely.
Also, you can say you can say you're abused by your spouse.
Yes.
Which, is problematic because anybody could say anybody's been abused by their spouse. Also,
well, it's good if you show up with a broken nose.
Yeah, like we have a black eye or something like that. Yeah, maybe a sob story. Also, a U visa for victims of crime. If you've been a victim of a crime, certain crimes while in the U.S. and have cooperated with law enforcement.
If that's the case, why would you want to be here? You just got beat up when you came here to the United States, and now you want a green card to stay?
Yeah, wrapping things up, we got about a minute before we hit the close here. Also, the T visa for victims of human trafficking, whether labor or sex. I mean, you can pretty much make up lies about that. And this one is the most galling. Cancellation of removal. If you've already been in removal proceedings, you might qualify for a green card through cancellation of removal. To qualify, you must have been in the U.S. for at least 10 years, demonstrate good moral character, and show that removal would cause extreme hardship. That's called amnesty, Richard.
Absolutely.
That's amnesty. All right, we're going to talk more about this later on, probably next week. A lot more to talk about. We ran out of time. Richard, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Excellent case.
And we'll see you guys next week in the Legal Lounge. As always, check out Richard's fantastic book, America: An Illusion of Freedom. It's available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and on iTunes. Check us out on Facebook, Rumble, and on YouTube. See you on Digital Talk on all those platforms. And we'll see you guys next week here in the Legal Lounge.